The Fairy's Two Gifts. A fairy was once wandering about in the shape of a poor old woman. Night came on as she was going along a country road. She went past fields and woods till she came to two houses. One, large and beautiful, belonged to a rich man. The other was the little cottage of a poor ditcher. The fairy thought, "It will be no trouble to the rich man to give me shelter." So she went to his door and knocked. He opened a window and called out, "Who is there? What do you want?" "I have lost my way, and night is near," said the fairy. "I beg you to give me shelter." The rich man looked at her from head to foot. Then he shook his head and said, "I cannot take you in. If I let in every poor man and woman who knocks at my door, I shall soon be a beggar myself. Go your way." Then he shut the window and left her outdoors. She turned her back upon his house and went to the cottage. As soon as she knocked, the ditcher opened the door and asked her to come in. "You look tired," he said, "and it is already late. You must spend the night with us." His wife then came forward. "We have not much, good mother," she said. "But what there is we will share with all our hearts." There were some potatoes cooking on the fire, and the woman brought out a bowl of bread and milk. The supper was good, because it was seasoned with peace and content. When bedtime came, the wife called her husband aside. "Dear husband," she said, "let us make a bed of straw for ourselves. Then this poor woman can lie in our bed and rest. She is old, and after walking the whole day, After breakfast the fairy thanked them and said goodbye. But at the door she turned and said, "You were kind to me when you thought I was poor and could do nothing in return. To show you that I have both will and power to aid you, I will grant you 3 wishes." "What more can I wish?" asked the husband, "than that we two, as long as we live, may be well and strong, and that we may not want our daily bread?" "I cannot think of a third wish." "Would you not like a new house?" asked the fairy, smiling. "Oh, yes," cried the ditcher and his wife, "that we would. With each 3 wishes granted, we want nothing more." The fairy changed the old house into a new one. Then she went her way, promising that their other wishes also should be granted. About noon the rich man happened to look out of his window. To his surprise, he saw the new cottage. He stared at it a long time. Then he called his wife and said, "Yesterday there was a poor old cottage across the road. Today there is a pretty new one in the same place. Run over and ask how this came to pass." The wife went and asked the ditcher, "How in one night did you get a new house in place of your old one?" "I will tell you," he said. "Yesterday evening a poor woman came to our door and asked shelter for the night. This morning she told us that she was a fairy and would grant us 3 wishes. We wished for health and daily food, and then she changed our house into this new and beautiful cottage." The rich man's wife ran back to tell her husband this news. "I could beat myself," he cried. "If only I had known that she was a fairy! Why, she came to my door first, poor old beggar that she seemed. She asked me to take her in, and I said no." "What a pity," said his wife. "But make haste and get on your horse and ride after her. If you overtake her, beg ye are to grant 3 wishes for us also." The rich man saddled his best horse and rode with speed after the fairy. At last he overtook her. He spoke very gently and kindly. "I hope you are not angry, because I did not take you in last night," he said. "I had lost the key of the house door. Before I found it," he went on, "if you pass our way again, you must stay with us." "Yes," she said, "I will if I ever come your way again." Then the rich man asked her to grant him 3 wishes as she had done his poor neighbor. "It would do you no good," said the fairy. "What is there for which you need to wish?" "Oh," cried the rich man, "I am sure I can find something I want." "Very well," said the fairy, "ride back home. The first 3 wishes that you make shall be granted." The rich man was so busy thinking what he should wish that he forgot to hold his bridle up. His horse began to prance and kick. "Be quiet, Bess," he said, and struck her. But she pranced and kicked the more. This made him so angry that he cried, "Whoa, Bess! What do you mean?" "I wish your neck was broken." No sooner were the words out of his mouth than she fell down under him and lay dead. He had made his first wish, and it had come to pass. Well, at least I have 2 wishes left, he said. He did not like to leave the saddle and bridle in the road, so he took them cool. His wife was sitting at ease in their room, yet it was she who had sent him after the fairy. Ah, I wish she had this saddle fast to her back, he said, not thinking what he was saying. At the words the saddle slipped from his back. Warm as he was, he ran home as fast as he could go. There sat his wife, with a saddle on her back, screaming and crying that she could not get it off. Do not fret so about a little thing, he said. I will wish for us to have all the riches in the world, and the wish will come true if you let the saddle stay on. You stupid thing, she cried. Of what use would be all those riches if I had this saddle on my back all my days? No, no. You wished it on, now you must wish it off. Much against his will, he had to wish that the saddle might come off her back. At once it fell to the ground. The rich man had had his 3 wishes. They brought him only anger and trouble, hard words from his wife, and the loss of his horse. The 3 wishes of the kind and contented ditcher freed him from want to the end of his days.